We may or may not be live. It is taking its time to load. I'm not sure. But if we are live and you're hearing me, good afternoon. I think we are.
I'm not saying that we're live as yet.
Because it's still loading. The thing. Okay. You are live. We are live. Good afternoon. Good afternoon and welcome to this stream, this live stream. Welcome again, Christine. Christine, my friend Christine, who has signed on to be what? Are we Lone Ranger and Tonto? Are we Batman and Robin? Are we whatever? But something, the sidekick, right? To come on and have these conversations with me. Because there's so much to talk about in the world today. There's really so much
Absolutely.
that I want. There's a rant that I have, and there's also a topic that I have for today. Because
Wow.
there's so much happening all over the place that it's like, wow. So I want to welcome our subscribers. I want to ask those who have not subscribed, who come in and peep and just don't say anything, to please subscribe and like. That's how the algorithm of YouTube works. So if you don't say anything and you just quietly look and say nothing, then we get nothing. YouTube is not going to promote this channel. And I want this channel to be promoted because we are two intelligent, beautiful women, and we are here every week bringing some substance. This is not, any kind of, you know, low grade something. This is very high grade, for whatever better description. This is very, we research our topics and we are not experts on every single thing. We have our genres, we have our things that we do, our skill sets. But we are intelligent and we could do research and we listen and we speak. So therefore we are, could address some topics that we want today. What is our take on office romance, whether it's a yes or a no? Good. Okay, so let me introduce myself. Chrissy will introduce herself, and then we'll do our intro, and then we will get into some really juicy stuff. So my name is Cheryl Diane. I'm an international keynote speaker. I'm an image consultant. I'm a trainer. I'm an author. I love speaking to women. Whenever I have sessions with women, young girls and women, I do mainly women, and I see the transformation. I feel as though my work here on earth is being done. I feel that's what I'm called for, to help empower others as I continue to learn something new every single day. Because there's no, I'm done. I'm here. Every single day, there's a reason to learn and to grow. So that's who I am. And this is Christine Francois. Christine.
Hi, everyone. So, as Cheryl said, I'm the sidekick. Not sure exactly what we're going to name me in terms of Tonto or something else. But listen, guys, the fact is, Cheryl is so right. We have so much to say, and what our goal is to help empower you to bring topics that really cause you to think, to be more reflective, and hopefully that helps your own personal narrative as you navigate your own life. We are excited by all the topics that we bring forward, and we would love you to share what you would like us to talk about. Certainly not the super controversial ones, because there's so many dynamics and things that are not allowed by YT and the algorithm. But my name again is Christine Francois. I'm a wellness coach. I'm a former career banker, corporate communications executive, a business consultant, and owner of my event production company, and absolutely passionate about helping individuals, predominantly women over 50, get in their best shape ever, to experience their best life ever. And that comes from fitness, nutrition, mindset, and helping us. Because, guys, listen, we are going to be living for quite a long time. And we really need to step up our game, live healthy, live passionately, so that we can bring even more value to the world. So that's pretty much it, Cheryl. So take it away and let's get started.
And you can connect with Christine at her Linktree /Christine Francois, spelled the same way it's on the screen here. Christine Francois, Linktree, Christine Francois. You can connect with me at Cheryl Diane Speaks. We would love to connect with some of you all, but that's what we do. Okay? So let's get our intro and let's get started.
Your mic is off.
It's going to be on now. Yes. Okay. I didn't plan to have it in a loop, but you know what? This is season to be merry and happy. So season's greetings to one and all. This is the time of the year when I just love it. The atmosphere is so charged with joy and happiness. I mean, some of it for the wrong reason, but I try to remember the reason for the season. I don't really celebrate the day as such, but I enjoy the season and the reason we are coming together in this season to celebrate the coming of our Christ. Let me tell you something. It's a wonderful time of the year. The music just gets me every single time. And today, this topic is going to be, all right. But before I get into our topic, you know, I love family. Love family. And the thing about it is that there's not a single person on this earth who can tell me there's never been controversy in their family. There's never been something they didn't like. There's never been someone in your family who didn't do something to you that wasn't right or didn't feel right or something like that. There wasn't a fallout in some way. But do we, this person here, whatever happens between my family and myself, we'll fight and roll down a hill. But no one is going to say anything negative about my family. I'm going to defend them till my last breath. I am not washing my family's laundry in public at all. Let us fight among ourselves. Let us get over what we're together. Let us deal with our issues internally. Because I cannot look at that whole documentary series, but Meghan and Harry. And let me tell you something. There was a clip that some of my YouTube people who I look at keep showing. The one with her bowing and showing how she bowed before the Queen and everything else. I saw a lot of things happening in that clip. First of all, I was also old enough to remember Mike Tyson and Robin Givens. I saw shades of Mike Tyson and Robin Givens in that. But he just sat there with his head bowing and probably felt hurt, embarrassed, and didn't know what to do about himself. But allowing somebody to do what she's doing to his family. I saw gross disrespect for a woman that the whole world, well, some people didn't like her for whatever reason, but most people in the world cherished and adored the beautiful Queen who just passed away. I saw someone who's manipulative. That's my take on it. Because let me tell you something. She could say and get on 1,000 hills and all the rooftops and shout that she didn't know and she didn't do research on Prince Harry. To me, that speaks to her ignorance. That speaks to being very ignorant. Because nobody who's anybody of a certain age in this world can tell me they don't know about the royal family, whether they like them or not. You don't have to like them, but you certainly will know about them. And you know there's certain protocols. It comes as if you join the army. When you join the army, there's certain protocols to follow. I remember when my eldest son joined the Coast Guard, we have a relative who was like second in command in the Coast Guard. And even though we were related, I mean like really related, not distance, right? Any kind of function that the Coast Guard was having, sometimes I wouldn't go because my son couldn't attend because he was a junior officer. They would invite me, I wouldn't go because I just kind of felt as my child. We had to the gatherings had to be in a family forum for him to be in the same space as this gentleman. But that's just the rule. We didn't feel less than or anyhow. Those are the protocols that we have to live by. Those are protocols I put out there in the world. When you go to work for someone, I have people who work for me for many years, and there's some of them sometimes you kind of wonder. They take the job, they get the job, and when they get there, they don't want to abide by the rules of my company. Well, then go. But you want to stay there and fight with me. Okay? And this is what she has done. She's saying, and she keeps saying that she didn't know about all these things. I'm bringing up topics about his mother dying, going to his soft spot. She's manipulative and she's awful. And she is going to pay for that. Let me tell you something. Nothing goes unthink. Wherever you make up your bed, that's how you lie. My mother always said that. And something is going to come out of it. And one day, he's going to wake up. It's like Mike Tyson just got up one day and realized, wait a minute, this pretty woman who I'm in love with, she has me like a fool all over the place. He is going to realize, right? But the person I think who's hurting most now is his brother. Because that's not what they're accustomed to. I'm sure there are many times the Queen didn't want to do certain things. She was a human being. She was a whole human being. But she had to put her hat on and come out and say, I declare But this is right, whether she agreed with it or not. Because that's the protocol, that's the role she's called to play in life. And sometimes people have to understand that. You can't marry a prince, get into a 1,000-year family tradition, and just go in there and try to change it. And the race card she's playing, I say it's a lie. You know why I say it's a lie? The world embraced the fact that there was somebody diverse coming into this royal family. I got up early morning and shared this on, that there was diversity now in the royal family. I looked at Prince Charles walk down the middle of the aisle and held her hand and walked her up the aisle to meet his son to marry her. And let me tell you something. She is going to pay for that. It hurts me. I don't know them. Not a cent of the $100 million coming towards me. You know what? I'm a mayor. Nobody in the world, as far as they're concerned. But let me tell you something. That is going to have repercussions. Family is important. Do not let anybody come into a family and destroy it. If they can't come into a family and join, I'm not saying we can't make adjustments. I'm not saying no. But do not let anybody come and manipulate you to the fact that you get there on a television series and you are making an announcement saying she doesn't have a father. You don't know anything about her childhood. You know what she said to you. And we know people lie and people make up stories, right? And there's something coming. I looked at the interview yesterday with her sister and her brother, and there's something coming, and her truth will be revealed to the world. So let us just say that today, that's my pet peeve. That's not the topic for today. The topic for today is office romance. And that came about because of very high profile thing that's happening on ABC News. I think it's ABC, yes. Where the couple who they found out were having a relationship. So let me say off the bat, I do not believe in infidelity. It goes against my Christian values. But I always say consenting adults, they can do what they want because everybody, like I just said, have to answer for what there's a consequence to everybody's action. Somebody took the time when they figured out something was going on to send paparazzi to follow them and take pictures of them and expose their relationship. They are equals, so it wasn't like a junior being taken advantage of by a senior person. And we don't know what was happening in their marriages, home in their house. We don't know, we're not privy to any of that. We're not privy to any of that, right? And they exploded it. And this immoral world we living in, where anything is anything, right? Anything is anything. All of a sudden, they have their moral, and they want to call for them to be fired and move off the air. And all these people who do all kinds of wrong things and ugly things with their lives, and who feel that they're right? And if you say that you don't agree with them, you're wrong to say that. They have the right, and you're always in the wrong. All of a sudden, they put on all these moral hats, and they now want to, throw ish at the couple. I say, leave them alone. Let them stay on their jobs as long as they do not, because I never saw them, with any kind of PDA or anything. I mean, as long as they do not violate, and the company had said they never violate any company rules. Leave the people. All of you with your moral self need to keep yourself in your space. People are too invested in other people's business these days. I mean, it's like a crazy virus. You thought COVID was bad? That virus of people in people's business is worse than COVID. It's disgusting. It's really, people get there and have all kind of opinions and go dig up in their life and see what they're really doing. See who they really are. Who are these people really? To be so moral all of a sudden, right? Let the people deal with their business. Let them deal with their thing, as long as they're doing their jobs, because we don't know what other people are doing. The world is too confused. The moral, the immoral. And then yesterday I learned of this new acronym, because everything has to have an acronym, everything has to have a thing. If I get and say I'm a woman this morning, everybody wants to get on my case. Oh, you're a woman, and they want to get upset with me, and I am a woman, I don't know what to say. So I need to cover and don't say I'm a woman, right? But other people can say they're a woman, all right? And even if you don't answer them and don't say anything, you're still wrong because you need to acknowledge and say, yes, you are a woman. I can't lie, okay? I can't lie. And yesterday when I heard about dinks and dinkwads, I was like, what? What's a dink? And what's a dinkwad? That's the thing. That's where the world is today, right? Right? That's dual income, no kids. They have decided not to have kids. Well, okay, fine, but it has to have an acronym. It has to be out there because people have to verify that, and people have to agree with you. Listen, Whatever you do inside of your house is your business. You don't have kids, that's you don't have 10, you don't have 12, whatever, you do it, right? And then the dinkwads is dual income, no kids with a dog. So that is now a thing. So you see where the world is today, right? And when there are many couples all over the world dying to have children and can't for, biological reasons, and would love to become parents, if you decide not to have children because something hurt you in your past and you decide you don't want children, because I think that comes from a hurtful place. I think, right? That's my thing. Okay? That's just my thought. It comes from a place where why won't you want to reproduce? Somebody brought you here. What about your family line? But it is your business. Keep it to yourself. That's your personal business. Why does it have to be all over social media? Why do I have to know that you're a dink? Why do I have to know that you're a dinkwads? What is that? So I'm no longer Campbell Sewing. You're no longer Mings Francois. You are Dinkwad or a Dink. What is that? And everything has become such a big thing. That's now a big thing. I tell you, the world has gone crazy. And those of us with a voice need to say something about it. Because they're always ready to throw stones, eh? They talk about freedom of speech. There's another one, something Mulvaney. He decided to become a girl, I think 72 days ago, a couple of days ago, couple of months, right? He decided to transition into a girl. Okay, fine, go ahead. You do your thing. God gave everybody on this earth freedom to do what they want. But you get there on YouTube and on all the media and talking about wanting to work with extra tampons in a bag. And because women said what? Tampon? You don't need a tampon. You're upset because people are saying, why do you need to have a tampon? But you're doing good in the world because you went to a bathroom and there's a woman in a stall saying, anybody here has a tampon? And you felt, oh my God, I need to help her. So I need to have a tampon. So I need to also work with tampons. But isn't that is taking things to the next level. And to me, that's real mental illness. That's real mental instability. Okay? That's real mental instability. So people, live and let live, please. Nobody telling you what initials to put behind your name. Nobody telling you what to work with in your handbag. If you feel you want to distribute tampons in a bathroom, a lady's bathroom, you go ahead. First figure, I think you have no right being in there as the first thing. But anyway, you go in there, but they make a whole thing about it because you need to be relevant. That's the whole thing about it. They get very public because somehow they need to be relevant. They need people to identify with them. I know who I am, and I don't need the world to identify with who I am. I am who I am, and this is who I am. This is who I choose to be. This is how God made me. This is who I am. I don't want to get on social media every single day. I'm a woman, and I'm a this, and I'm a that, and I believe in this. Let me tell you something. You believe in your belief, because everybody has freedom to believe in whatever they want to believe in. And I respect human beings. Before I get off this stage that I'm on here, I respect human beings. If that's your belief, I don't have to agree with you, but I respect you and leave you alone. Leave me alone to believe what I want to believe. Okay? Leave me alone. And I think therapists need to get busy sending out their cards because there's so many people who need to get some therapy. And that's my, in the words of one of the people who I love to follow, a very controversial YouTuber who I love to follow, Candace Owens. That's all I have to say about that. Christine, take the stage.
Woo! You dropped some serious bombs this morning, Cheryl. Well, your rant was your rant. And so that's one thing. So let me just take up where you left off in terms of office romances, but you also jumped onto people who need to control what we believe. The fact is, I am in total agreement with you, Cheryl. I am who I am. You are who you are. You want to do what you want to do. We're not related. I have no control over you. Live your life. Live your life, right? We all have a human right to live our lives. Challenges come when whatever you believe, you want to force your beliefs on me. and now I must accept what you believe. No, no, it doesn't work like that. And so, like you, I respect every human on this planet to live their own lives, whatever political views, religion, sexual orientation, that does not matter to me. You live your life, that's between you and your creator. Whatever you call your creator, that is between you. It has nothing to do with me. Now, on to office romances, or what is otherwise known as workplace romances. Wow. Did some research this morning, Cheryl. This is, and this
Get away.
time, and this time, I didn't go to the US. I wanted to go, I went to the UK for some interesting data, and this was an article that is domiciled on a website called theconversation.com, and it's written by Chantal Gauthier. She is a lecturer and organizational psychologist and clinical psychologist with the School of Social Sciences with the University of Westminster. I love getting, the fact is, this was published just a few months ago, August 22nd this year, and I love it. She said, these are the 4 questions that you need to ask yourself before entering a workplace romance. Number 1, is it hierarchical? And you touched on that when you talked about that relationship in the US. Very very topical. And this morning I was thinking about it, Cheryl. And I said to myself, why is it that somebody's personal business now becomes a topic for our global consumption with views, opinions, fire them, don't fire them, when it is obviously, and they're not teenagers, they're not 15 and 16, they're clearly in their 40s and 50s. These are mature adults, and based on what we're seeing, consensual adults. Yes, they're both married, but I agree with you. We don't know what's happening in those relationships. And guess what? It's none of my business. I'm not interested. God bless them both and their families. It's none of our business. So when did this become something for public consumption, public debate? It's just too much. And I always say, when something becomes so large that the entire world is consumed by it and everybody is chiming in, it's like the magician's sleight of hand. Whatever is being shown, what is happening that we're not seeing? Something else is afoot. And it's almost like make something a scapegoat, build a bonfire. I saw this movie, I can't remember what it was, but the protagonist, we all thought he was dead. But here it was that some drama was unfolding and he was escaping very quietly in a helicopter. Something else is happening, and we are being distracted by this particular story. And that's what I think. There is something else that's way bigger, more sinister, quite frankly, that is happening. And these folks are the bonfire. They are the big explosion, and all eyes are directed there when something else is happening on the side that we should be paying attention to. Um, that's that's my one thing. So you had your rant, and that's my take on what's happening now. But getting back to Chantal Gauthier, it's whether it's hierarchical, and you're quite right, both individuals in this instance are the same or appear to be at the same level. They're both show hosts and do a great job based on what I see. And it's so funny. Again, as I said, there's so much to unpack in what you said because you hit all of the points. When did everybody else become so righteous that they get to pronounce what's right and what's wrong in somebody else's relationship? I seem to recall it wasn't quite a number of years ago that somebody else on that show had some stuff and it was a big hullabaloo. So I won't name names, but I found it interesting that everybody is saying X, Y, and Z. But guess what? There's another element that reporting can always be skewed, I think, because sometimes people say, oh, Christine said X, Y, and Z, and then suddenly it's like, me? I said what? Well, in which parallel universe did I say this, right? So we have to take a lot of what's going on with a pinch of salt. It's unfortunate that their laundry is being strewn all over the place. And I think it's very degrading. I think people also need to remember, and yes, they do have a responsibility to their family, to their children, but they weren't the ones that announced it. Somebody decided to be malicious.
Yeah.
Follow them. Why was it necessary to hire somebody to follow them, to take pictures, to expose them? What was the agenda? What was the agenda? I have some more points, but
Exactly what's happening now.
You answer me. What do you think was the agenda?
Exactly what's happening right now. There was something that came up. Now this is America, right? And there's always something about race. And somebody made a comment that TJ Holmes forgot he was black, even though, because he light skin. So that could be a factor. Or it could just be, let me tell you, the mainstream media. Do you know why YouTube is so up and rising right now with all those people who have these powerful channels? Because they seek truth, most of them. And they come out with the truth. They do research. Mainstream media runs with sensationalism. It's sensationalism. I'm going to out them. So I went to dinner somewhere. So I want to dinner another time. What? Why they going to dinner at nights by themselves? Why they going to certain places by themselves? Let's put something on them and expose them. Because they are God, you see. They are God. They're so good. I am so good. And what I see you doing there, I have to expose you because I am so good and righteous. Or I might be very jealous. So he black and she white. Huh. Well, he don't like black women anymore? Okay, let me expose him. There could be many factors that happen with that. Or on the other side, could be like, she dating a black man, let me expose her. It could be a lot of different things that happened in that thing. But the biggest thing is that you use the right word. It was malicious intent to follow the people who nobody thought anything was going on with. Look at them on TV doing their jobs. They all laugh. When you look at Hoda and what's her name, they laugh and talk, they sing. When you look at all, that's how there's a camaraderie, those people on mornings, whether they really meet or not. We see on television all the niceness that happens with them, and he's smiling, and he's high fives, and the touching, and that's what people saw. There was no romantic anything shown on that screen. They never crossed the line. And if they get fired, I think they should sue that station and get everything so they don't have to work for the rest of their lives. And they will work because there are things called podcasts now that making more money than mainstream media. Mainstream media full of confusion. And there are people who, let me tell you something. Oh my God. Oh my God. People just cannot mind their own business anymore. It's a pandemic. It's an epidemic. It's a whatever is the worst thing that happened in the world, it is that. Okay? A tsunami. Whatever horrible can happen in the world, that was what that is. People are into other people's business in a real way. And they get all passionate and they get all things. And everybody is right. And they can't say this and they can't say that. And it's a whole lot. But when you look at their lives, really, which one among us could throw a stone?
None.
I want to know. Which one of us so moral and so good that we could throw a stone at somebody else?
We should not. No, because all of us,
Exactly. All
we
these
are all
good
sinners.
people, all these good people who want to out them. Because the second time you have a relationship with somebody on the job, the other person never complain. They had the thing, they break up, you move on, right? But you have to dig all of that up. Because the world is evil. That's where we live in. That's where we are at right now. And all those moral ones who encouraging all kind of other immoral. And that's the reason why I want to be ding and the other guy, because
Yeah.
everybody encouraging that behavior. Right? So that was the parallel to what I was talking about. But you want to attack two people, two consenting big people who feel like each other. Whether we agree with it, and like I said, infidelity is not something that I agree with. The Bible talks about it. Adultery is a sin. I do not believe in that, but I am not the one to judge them. Okay? As long as they didn't get on screen and do something that was against company policies or whatever it is, we have no right to judge them. And that's my take on that.
Yeah, and one of the other issues as well, and you raised it quite rightly, and one of the questions that Chantal raised as well is, if it's hierarchical, there are issues that come about with that for most companies, because the person who is at the lower end of the spectrum, that person typically, and it's human nature, that person is typically looked over for things like training and ladies, and I know it's predominantly ladies here, but ladies, if you are the one in the lower position and you're dating or have a romance going on with your boss or your senior, just bear in mind that by way of research, it's been proven that you are looking at people, HR, overlooking you for things like promotions, training opportunities. And then the challenge with companies is that they're looking at the quality of productivity or a reduction in your productivity. And in this high profile issue, it does not appear that, as you just said, Cheryl, they were very professional on screen, right? But for the average Joe and Jane bloke in offices, you've got to look at that, because as the researchers show, when you're in the new throes of a romance, it's love, it's sex, it's passion, you're in the same space. First and foremost, the article indicated that workplace romances, it's not new. It's always happened because you have people who come together. They're in close proximity all of the time, every single day, 8, 9, maybe 10 hours a day. They've got similar likes, dislikes, and it's obvious that these things can develop. But companies need to have policies in place, just as they do for sexual harassment, mental wellness. They need to have a particular program and counseling and, guidelines for this. I remember when I worked in banking a very, very long time ago, a lifetime ago, it was, and it still is, frowned upon. Office romances were frowned upon. You could not be in the same space and have a relationship. I know of one that was very, what was it? It was, you never knew that they had a relationship in the office. You never knew. They eventually went on to get married, have kids. But usually, back in the day, it meant that if the company found out that you were having a relationship with one of your peers, one of the individuals would be transferred. out of the branch. And it just makes sense for
Yep.
productivity reasons, etc. And again, some companies have that. What I learned today, which was very interesting, is that in the US, and not in the UK, because it's because of human rights, the Human Rights Act, it's not allowed in the UK. But the research showed that in the US, there's something called a love contract, where the employer secures itself and the two employees involved by disclosing that there is a relationship, that it is consensual, because they don't want, if something happens, that somebody cries sexual harassment. And of course, that's a whole other ball game. So there are things that companies can do, but let's think about the emotional and the mental wellness that occurs. What's happening in a relationship? You get involved with someone in the office, all sorts of crazy things can occur. And I have heard, I mean, it's alleged that all sorts of things happened in the office, on hours, off hours. People are talking, people are distracted when they see the two people together. So just think about it from a business perspective. It's not something that companies really want to engage in. Even 30, 40 years down the line, it is still frowned upon in companies all over the world, in spite of having things like love contracts. But clearly, because we are human beings and things happen, companies need to put things in place. And also individuals need to be more circumspect in terms of if that happens. But it's one of those things that you can't avoid, Cheryl, which is what I want to say. It's one of those things that you can't avoid. And I agree with you. Two consenting people, it's their business. Yes, they're married, but we don't know. And so again, it's none of our business. And that's my perspective on this.
Yeah. And you touched on some things there, because I remember where I had my first business for many, many years. They have many branches, and they were made to declare that if there's something going on. Because I mean, let's face it, where do we meet people? Where's a woman meet a man? Where's a man meet a woman? Right? If you're a movie star on a movie set, very rare do you meet somebody just walking down the street. Sometimes it happens. You meet in a supermarket. People meet each other at different places, right? The policy was they have to declare it, and then they'll separate them. They'll look in different branches for obvious reasons, right?
Yes.
And then in the recent past, I attended a forum before COVID locked us down. I attended a forum that Karen hosted, human resource thing. And one of the presenters was talking about something was happening in one of our large telecommunication company. The couple worked there. They both worked there right out of school, but they worked in different departments for many years. They met, they got married, they had their families, and then they separated. And there was abuse in the relationship. There was, she claimed that there was that happening in their relationship, right? And there became a point in time when, and this is one of the cons, the disadvantages of working in the same environment, romance and that kind of thing, right? Even though they were a married couple, because of what happened in their home, it came into the workplace. Because there came a time when she was afraid to come to work because she was afraid to see him. Because she claimed that he threatened her all the time, right? So the company had to get involved. And they sought to shift him to a different location, which is kind of far away from where she was, right? And of course, he took them to court. And he called it discrimination. Why didn't they shift her? So the point they were trying to make is she is the mother of the children. And the distance would be a lot for her to have to, so they try to make it a humane thing. I don't know how it ended, but the topic was discussed at that forum because it was a human resource forum. And they were talking about the disadvantages of something like that happening, right? And I saw firsthand something that happened where I had my business with married manager and getting involved with a junior worker, right? And then his spouse found out about it. came to the compound, and the place had to be shut down that afternoon because that lady was not playing with that girl. And of course, that's before social media got so big. Facebook was now coming in, so nobody was taking. I think our Me Too phones didn't have cameras, or is that would be all over social media. Let's still talk about it. Those of us who knew each other from that time say, you remember that day? Oh my God! Some people were afraid. Some people were like, some people were amused, right? So there are huge disadvantages that office romance brings to the table. But there are also some very successful ones where people, because let me tell you something, even, let's come off of office romance a little bit. I have had employees so many years, right? And I can tell you something, there are some of those employees who I could hang out with after work, invite to my home, have dinner. And when we at work, we are boss and employee.
Sure.
And there's some of them you do that with them. And when they get back to work, they still feel they don't know how to divide. They don't know how to separate it. And I guess that could happen with office romance. They don't know how to separate their feelings. Because I mean, if you just quarrel with that man in the morning, and you get to work and you see his face all day. Let me tell you something. You might not say anything to him, but all your coworkers around, you're going to feel the brunt of your anger. Or going to see you crying, or going to see you all emotional. It brings different things to the table. I know that. So it is not something that I recommend. But I'm saying, when you're spending 7 and 8 hours a day, sometimes up to 10 hours a day in a workspace, where do you meet a partner? Where do you meet a spouse? Right there. Right there. Right? So the thing about it is that there has to be policies put in place to, I don't want to say control, but maybe to govern how these things play out.
Sure,
right?
Yes.
There need to be policies put in place, right? For to govern how these things play out. There really needs to be, because it is inevitable. It's going to happen again. It happened before, it's going to happen again, and will always keep happening. Because people get attracted to people by seeing them, sometimes work ethic, different things, how they dress, how they walk, how they deal with customers. You never know, right? Something in somebody's eyes, somebody's body frame, whatever it is, you cannot avoid it. So office romance is going to be here to stay. But I think all those moral people need to get off their high horse and look at the beam in their eye instead of looking at the speck in the other person's eye, because that's what's happening there. They're all encouraging all kinds of nonsense. Everywhere, their lives are a mess behind the scenes. It could be jealousy that caused that. It could be racism that caused that. It could be all different things that caused that exposure, because it didn't need to be exposed. Those people could have gone on to their lives and nobody would have been any the wiser, right? So I'm just saying, we are, I don't know if it's a slippery slope, you know. I think we're down at the bottom of the soup, eh? We skated down to the bottom of the hill and tumbling upon, everybody's tumbling right now. It's a crazy thing that's happening there. The things that we are being forced to accept, and we can't exercise our human right and say, I don't agree with that, Christine. No, I don't agree with this. We're not allowed. Because we say it, that means we have, and they have all these different phobias that they add things onto. Something phobia, this phobia, and that phobia. So everything is a phobia if you don't agree with what they're doing or what they say. And it may not necessarily be so. People have their beliefs. I do not believe in forcing my beliefs on anybody, right? Religious, political, or otherwise. So I stay away from it. I do not believe, because let me tell you something, religion have a lot of mess in it that has nothing to do with God and the Bible. And politics, opposition, government, left, right, none of them right. All of them corrupt. Everybody's seeking to get what they have to get and will make you feel that they're the best for you until they get there. So let me tell you something. Now, I believe in voting. So don't get me wrong when I say that. But let me tell you something. I don't point fingers at anybody. I like to stand in the middle and look and decide for myself. But I will always maintain my right to speak up. And anybody want to get involved in my business, go right ahead. You understand? My life is an open book. Go ahead. But they probably will look at another celebrity, so there's not gonna be anything. I killed a man yesterday, right? So what? Who is she? No. But let me be a celebrity or something. And the thought just came. Allegedly, this happened. Next morning, you can't even turn on any kind of media, whether a podcast, whatever it is, and somebody's not talking about it. People who have way too much time on their hands. All the people who quiet quit and sitting in their home on their computers when the day come, to get up and go back out to work. Or the companies need to have a balance, a shift. Go to work some days, stay home some days. I like the balance. It's just sitting down in the house all day long and having time to search through social media. Let me tell you something. It's a dangerous thing. We have all slid to the bottom of that slope, all down at the bottom there. The whole mishmash and a mess. So people need to get up there. All the morale and all the whatever it is, and it's so wrong, and everybody what kind of opinions, and oh my God, get over it and leave the people alone. That's my, and I just love Candace. Listen to Candace Owens. She's so spot on. You might not agree with her politics, but she's spot on. And that's all I have to say about that. When she says, I'll be like, wow, I need that line. I need to use that line. I just love it because she says it. That's it. For the first time there, that's all I have to say about that. Love it. Just love it.
Yeah, I started looking at some of what she has to say based on your recommendation, and I quite agree with quite a number of her things. Not sure about her politics, really relevant, but a lot of what she's saying is so true. And again, I think one of my questions would be, how do people? It really comes back to your point you just made. How do people have so much time because I know every day I have a list of things I have to accomplish for my business, for my family. I have a shopping list of things to do and errands. And by the time it's 7, 8, sometimes, 9 o'clock, I'm still at work. I'm still, working on things. And even if it's may not be for today, I'm planning things for the following day. How do people really need to get a hold, ask themselves this question: how is engaging myself in focusing in a particular direction, how is it helping me to better my own personal life? Is it helping me to better my life? Yes or no? If it's yes, oh, well, maybe you have a career in journalism or something else. Most of us aren't in journalism. Is it propelling me forward, helping me to achieve my goals, helping me to elevate myself to another consciousness, another level of thinking? Is it helping me that way? Am I moving up? Is engaging in that helping me to move up? If the answer is no, what we really need to do is look at how much time we're investing in those things. And if it is X amount of time, you determine for yourself. If that is a big deal in terms of the whole mental wellness conversation. We get so caught up in doing things that are not helping us to elevate ourselves that we just go off the rails. We get totally carried away. And then the things that will really help us to propel our lives forward, make our lives better for not just ourselves, but for our families, for our generations, we neglect. Why are we not focusing on the things to help us elevate our work-life balance, things that we enjoy, going out in nature, doing things for people who are less well off than we are? We can find so many things to do, and it will play very well for our mental health and holistic wellness. If you feel that you want to go jump onto social media just to scroll and put on your socks, put on your shoes, go for a walk. Go take a walk. It will help you. But getting involved in social media just to zero in on all of this stuff that has no relevance in your life or mine really is to your mental health detriment. And I really ask the question, where are you getting so much time? Is your life where you want it to be? And make some conscious decisions to take your life to the next level. Ask yourself some key questions. Get further education. There's so many free courses out there. Do something to elevate yourself. Move, get into a different group. They say that the if you're the strongest, the most intelligent one in your group, get a new group. Find people who are engaging in intelligent conversation that can help you take your life forward. But all of that other stuff, if it's not helping you, do your best to disengage. And if you need help disengaging, there's so many people out there with programs to help you find your own path. Yeah, that's it.
Good advice, Christy, but let me tell you something. You're in the minority in the world, right? Like I said, they're down at the bottom of the slope, roll up on top of each other. So you probably maybe still halfway on the slope. That's why you can think so rationally. But let me tell you something. It is the way of the world that they have to get involved in people's business. They have to compare themselves to other people. They have to say what they have to say. They have to always be, and if, it's just a crazy, crazy time. And I agree with a YouTuber who was talking about, not a YouTuber, actually, not Barnes Blanchett, Kate Winslet was saying that she thinks that social media companies need to have policies where certain parts of the social media should only be for people of a certain age and over. Because everything is exposed to everybody. And once a child has a smartphone, right? And like somebody pointed out, a smartphone doesn't mean the child is smart. It means that the phone is smart. So any idiot could use it. That's the description he gave. So a smartphone doesn't mean that you're smart. It means that any idiot could use it because the phone's smart. The phone's smarter than you, right? They do whatever. And these children could get there and get into all kinds of stuff. That's the world we're living in today. We're living in a world where what you just said there sounds good and clean and nice. Nobody is taking you on. They want to get there when they come and speculate, like what happened to those 4 students in Idaho. Unfortunate, the amount of speculation. People have to beg people to stop coming to their home and harassing them because they saw them on the video by the food truck the night. And they feel it's him, and they feel it's him, and they feel it's him. People are allowing the police to do their jobs. And with the girl, the Mexico thing, a whole lot of speculation. You have to know who you're listening to. My advice is for all the people who like to be on social media, there is good content. There's really good content. Just guard your air gate and be careful who you lend it to, who you're listening to, who you open those gates up to. Because not everybody has their best interest at heart. Some people just trying to get famous, become influential, make some money, become relevant. That's all they need in life. So they will say almost anything. And you need to be able to know when you're being told the truth. You need to be able to know when TJ Holmes and Amy Robach, whatever, really they like each other. All right, do whatever. I hope the spouses are okay. Boom, and move on. We need to know when to do that. It is none of our business. And we've seen far too many females, I would say, getting involved in these kinds of witch hunts and confusion in their lives. And really, I don't know where it's heading. It's crazy, right? So we live in crazy times, right? We live in crazy times, but we always have to check ourselves. I say we need to go back. I always end my live stream like talking about God. Go back to what God says in the Bible. Go back to family values, Harry. Go back to your family, Harry. Go back to your family, Harry. Megan, go and apologize to your family for trying to make them disappear. They are alive and well, right? You don't want your history because you suddenly want to be up in the world and they're not good enough to be there with you, but you cannot kill them off in your mind and in the public's mind. The truth will make you free. Okay? People, get alive. Those of you who quiet quitting, find something to do. Some mind people business, as people in Trinidad will say. Some mind people business. Oh my goodness. Stop it. You know, you could follow a case, you could follow certain things, but some mind people business in a general sense. And those mainstream media hosts who like to like a sensationalize everything, calling everything is and they'll run that headline over and over and over again. Oh, Christine smashed the box yesterday morning. Then one comes say, did you hear that Christine smashed the box yesterday morning? Woo! Christine smashed the box and then another box fell. And they will keep going and going and going and going, and it's so, and then everybody started to believe, did you hear what Christine did? And by the time I get this person, you know, Christine smashed the box and it hit a lady. And the next person say, you know, it hit a lady and lady fell in a car. And you know, it hit a lady, fell in a car and the car fell off a cliff. Let me tell you something, those stories just keep going and going and expanding and expanding and expanding. And we need to be careful about what we listen to, we lend our time to, and what we do with our precious time. As I keep saying over and over again, if people to look at their lives, look at themselves, I don't care how old you are, right? Let's start from 18. You can be 18 or you can be 80. 17 years before that 18th birthday, you can't get it back. Okay? 79 years before the 80th birthday, you cannot get it back. Nobody could reach back and take time back. Use your time wisely. Stop being so, what is the with influence? All the influence you have, one day, you're going to leave it behind. Because if influence and money kept people alive, we have people looking like stone, walking the streets, or living in palaces because they would stay there forever. Right? Because they have money and they have influence. Doesn't keep. One day Elon Musk with his 44 billion plus is no longer going to be here. It's like all of us. It is what life is about. It is what it is. We cannot go back and take time. So use your time wisely. Why you should spend your time doing all this foolishness? Why? So anyhow, as we end today, people, be wise. Mind your business, as my grandmother used to say. Please mind your business. You should have enough business to mind. Mind your business, please. I'm Cheryl Diane. Please connect with me. Linktree, Cheryl Diane. It's linked on YouTube right here. And this is my sidekick. We give her name one day.
Christine Francois.
Her Linktree is also Christine Francois. We have a lot to offer to you all. We need this channel to keep opening up and growing. So please subscribe and like and tell your friends about these two beautiful women who come to you every week with good, sensible topics, authentic and real. Let's get after it. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for being here.
Have a great day, everyone.